So this is a pretty darn hilarious story that I just caught because, as you guys know, I've been dunking on Kamala Harris's campaign for like a couple months now because she has completely imploded. Okay, she went from being a candidate who was top four, a serious contender, a serious candidate with a real chance to win, to a complete nobody, literally a nobody, legitimately a nobody. She is to the point of where she's about to be overtaken by Andrew Yang. I'm serious. She's within less than a point in the RCP poll national averages. So she's completely, fell into the ground. Now it turns out that there's some turmoil going on within the campaign, and this is usually what happens. In the Kirsten Gillibrand campaign, when she was raising like half of what she expected, there was a internal message sent or a memo or something that was basically saying like talking about how they're not getting many donations and talking about the possibility of it being due to Al Franken and all that kind of stuff. This Kamala Harris aide says in resignation letter, "I've never seen staff treated so poorly." It says an aide to Senator Kamala Harris blasted the treatment of staff on the California Democrats' presidential campaign in a resignation letter this month. Quote, "This is my third presidential campaign, and I have never seen an organization treated staff so poorly. While I still believe that Senator Harris is the strongest candidate to win in the general election in 2020, I no longer have confidence in our campaign or its leadership." She wrote that the way staff was treated during the past 2 weeks was, quote, "the final straw in this very difficult decision." Quote, "It is not acceptable to me that we encourage people to move from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore only to lay them off with no notice, no plan for the campaign, and without thoughtful consideration of the personal consequences to them or the consequences that their absence would have on the remaining staff. It is unacceptable that we would lay off anyone that we hired only weeks earlier. It is unacceptable that with less than 90 days until Iowa, we still do not have a real plan to win. Our campaign for the people is made up of diverse talent, which is being squandered by indecision and a, quote, lack of leaders who will lead." And then it looks like Representative Marcia Fudge, who has endorsed Harris, criticized some top aides, and called for the firing of campaign manager Juan Rodriguez. "I have told her there needs to be a change. The weakness is at the top, and it's clearly Juan. He needs to take responsibility. That's where the buck stops." So, this is a complete. This reminds me of when Jeb Bush was like, I think he closed down all of his. I forgot which state it was, but he had closed down just basically everything, all of his campaign headquarters and everything. That's what this reminds me of. This is the sirens going off and the end. This is the beginning of the end, or it's the middle of the end, or the end of the end. I actually don't know. But this is the sirens going off. The Elizabeth Warren campaign is going to have to sound off the alarm soon as well because she's quickly collapsing. And so what we're witnessing happening right now is the Kamala Harris campaign is already long dead, okay? Long dead, okay? The Elizabeth Warren campaign is now on the decline. Pete Buttigieg on the way up. So there's a lot of shifts going down right now. There's a lot of stuff. And it's just this. I saw this coming, honestly. I mean, I didn't see Kamala dropping off, but this obviously I saw coming. There had to be some sort of panic that ensued and took place at some point because your campaign is falling through the ground. It's falling through the sky, whichever one you want to use. And at some point, you're going to have to, address it. And it looks like this is their, sort of call to action at this point. So they're in trouble, and this is the beginning of this is either the beginning, the middle, or the end of the end.